Hello everyone, how's it going? And welcome to the Wild Rift patch notes for 4.4a. This is the big lump of changes that's going to happen to Wild Rift tomorrow. So this is the first time that changes have happened to Wild Rift since that 4.4 update. There was one hotfix that if you missed it, Fiddlesticks did get nerfed in a hotfix. It was on social media and everywhere. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check that out on social media. It was a big, huge hotfix to Fiddlesticks and nerfed him really heavily. So he won't be on the nerf list because he's already been nerfed basically. But we have other champion changes, we have other item changes as well that we'll be talking through, so let's head into it. First, we have the new game mode on the 10th of November. I probably won't have time to unfortunately play this game mode on stream or anything like that because I will be away at the 10th of November until the 20th of November, so maybe I'll give it a try when I come back. And that is the thing as well, is that videos will probably be a lot less going forward because of me being away for 10 days. I have videos planned, I have videos that are coming out, but they might not be as regular as what they normally are. I normally like to do one video, one short a day, but it might not be that for the next 10 days. Also, I have a new YouTube channel as well that's dedicated to Teamfight Tactics. If you're a fan of Teamfight Tactics, if you're excited for the new set 10, I do have a new dedicated channel towards that. I'll leave that down in the description as well if you want to go check that out. Like and subscribe over there to the videos, that would be very much appreciated. But yeah, new game mode is going to be very exciting anyway. I've given it a try on the test server and I think it's going to be extremely fun. Champion changes. I mentioned this already in my tier list, but Corki is probably one of the weakest AD carries in general this patch. He didn't really get any benefits from any of the new items or the newly buffed items. We talk about AD carries in general right now. Bloodthirster is by far the best item on any of them AD carries. Corki doesn't use that at all. Corki doesn't like any, Bloodthirster or any physical damage at all because 80% of his physical damage gets converted into magic damage. So that physical vamp that you're getting from Bloodthirster is kind of useless. Plus the extra AD and attack speed is not really that important anyway. So most people are still going for the Essence Reaver build. This is going to be a buff to that Essence Reaver build. You can see a little bit of early game attack damage. We get a little bit of extra attack damage per level, which will be roughly around 5 or 6 extra AD at max rank, which doesn't mean too much, but the extra AD in the early game is quite nice. And then also the ultimate, the base damage is staying the same, but you can see here that the attack damage ratio is going up at level 2 and level 3. So 5% level 2 and then 10% at level 3. Ability power ratio staying the same, which kind of makes sense. So it kind of stops people from building AP items on Corki. But again, buff to AD Corki in a way where it's going to scale more off your attack damage. So again, more attack damage you deal, the more damage your ultimate's going to do. And then the big one is the big massive rocket after a few times. Again, base values are not changing. It's just the AD ratio that's going up as well by 10% and 20%. So a little bit of love to Corki. I think it's quite nice because, as I said, Corki is probably one of the weakest AD carries right now. I think he definitely needed a bit of love. Someone I didn't think needed any love at all is Fiora, but apparently Fiora's performing as a, subpar. Not a good look for a grand duelist. So they're actually buffing some of Fiora's stats. The damage in the direction of the vital, the maximum health of target was normally 3%, now it's 3.5%. And the ultimate, the damage for triggering all 4 vitals has now gone up by 2%. So it probably doesn't mean a crazy amount, to be honest, because all of these damage buffs are all maximum health of the target percentage. So it's like the more maximum health that they build, the more damage you will be dealing. Same with the ultimate as well. There's no base stats or base value stats that are being buffed for Fiora, so I don't think these changes will be too much, but it'll be quite nice because if Fiora goes up against any other duelers that are building Divine Sunderer, that's health, health from overgrowth or anything like that will be pretty awesome. So we'll have to see and have a look and see what happens with Fiora. But again, Fiora I think is already in a pretty decent spot. Don't think she needed these buffs, but it's quite nice anyway. Yasuo, the wind wall is getting reduced in cooldown. It used to be 21 seconds at max rank, but now it's 18 seconds at all rank. This is a pretty nice buff for Yasuo. You can see that they're saying that he's been struggling against mages and assassins. The reason why he's struggling against mages, because mages are just completely broken at the moment with Crown the Shattered Queen and all these other items. Like, Yasuo cannot play the game at all most of the time if there is a Crown the Shattered Queen, because you can't knock him up with Tornado. You can't dash in and, you know, deal any damage or anything like that. So it's a little bit troublesome. But maybe the cooldown of Wind Wall going down will be quite nice, because then you'll be able to use this Wind Wall to maybe stop some of the poke damage from the mages, or maybe when assassins try to jump onto you. So a little bit of nice buff here. Again, not crazy change for Yasuo. I still think he'll be, you know, pretty, like, it'll stay the same. Like, Yasuo and Fiora I think will stay the same. Maybe Fiora will go up a little bit in terms of like win percentage. Yasuo probably will stay the same, to be fair. I don't think this change will mean too much. Like 3 seconds on Wind Wall, not too much. Aatrox, they're focusing more on Baron lane Aatrox. I mentioned a bit in my tier list that Aatrox is kind of going down a bit in priority in the Baron lane and also in the jungle, just because of the meta that we're in at the moment. Junglers are dominated by assassins and just these heavy burst junglers that Aatrox kind of struggles against. And Baron lane as well, there's just other stronger Baron laners right now. But some changes here. Passive, the Death Bringer stance. The damage, again, maximum health of target damage from 5 up to 15%. This is based on level. So at level 15, you'd get 12%. Now you get 15%. So you'll get roughly the same for like the first 5 to 10 levels, but then it will start going up by quite a bit the later the game goes. But again, that's all to do with the maximum health of the target. And then the first ability is also getting buffed. The base value is going up at level 2, level 3, and level 4, which is quite nice considering that this is the ability that you always max first. And then also the attack damage ratio is also going up at every single rank. Actually, it's going up by 5% attack damage every single rank. So overall, pretty nice change. I mean, this is a really nice buff for Aatrox. I mean, not only this is going to help him in the Baron lane with trading against other enemy champions, but it's also going to help him clear the jungle quicker as well. I think this is going to be really nice, you know, because with Aatrox, you can go for like Ghostblade, Black Cleaver, Divine Sunderer, which already you build a lot of attack damage with that. So that's going to increase the damage of your first ability. So just make sure that you land your first ability, which is the most important thing. Warwick, again, another champion that just isn't that great. I mean, I think Warwick has been buffed for like the past 3 or 4 patches, but again, it's still like the champion's just still not good at all. First ability, damage based on target maximum health. Again, going up by 1% every rank. It seems like a lot of these changes are all to do with maximum health. Look at this, maximum health, maximum health, maximum health. Like, what are all these changes do with maximum health? Maybe they feel like champions that have a lot of maximum health at the moment are just getting too much value. Maybe that's why. And then the cooldown of the ultimate going down by 5 seconds at every rank might be okay, but I think Warwick still stays in the same spot. I think Warwick's really easy to counter, really easy to play against. Champion doesn't really have any skill expression or any way to really play well against him. So yeah, Warwick, I understand the buff, but I still don't think he's going to be that strong. Twitch, this is a pretty big change to Twitch. Obviously, Twitch has been dominating the jungle at the moment, especially AP Twitch. You can see the ability power ratio already on the passive is going down. They're hitting AP Twitch, but then they're kind of buffing AD Twitch at the same time with that ultimate buff with the ballistic speed. So that's just how fast, I guess, that you can use use your ultimate and everything. I'm not 100% sure what ballistic speed means, but I think it means like how fast you can use your ultimate, like how fast you can basically auto attack. Because with your ultimate you gain range and you gain attack damage, but there's no stats in there that talks about speed. So I guess it's just auto attacks or anything like that. Anyway, the passive Deadly Venom, the damage per poison stack, you can see that the base values are all the same. The big thing is the passive is the ability power, sorry, is going down by 1%, so you're not going to get as much damage anymore. Not as much damage anymore from the ability power. Damage from each poison stack of your third ability. Again, the passive value stays the same. The attack damage bonus goes down by a little bit, but the big thing again is the ability power going down by 10%. Damage ratios to monsters. This is a huge one as well, because this helps Twitch clear jungle very, very quickly, especially like the first buff when you go for like blue buff into or red buff into a level 2 gank. This normally really helps you clear that red buff very, very quickly. But now it's only 80%, which is a really, really big cut. That's like a, what's that? Like a 30% cut or something like that. Like 30% nerf, basically, to the damage you're going to be dealing now with your third ability. So pretty big nerf there. But as I said, I think this ballistic speed is going to help maybe AD Twitch a lot more often, because when you're building more attack damage, obviously your auto attacks are going to do more damage, and you're less reliant on your third ability. Your third ability still does a lot of damage, but maybe with your ultimate now, with the spray and pray, sorry, with the ballistic speed, you can maybe auto attack very, very quickly. Nerf to Yuumi as well. Again, Yuumi really strong in the support role. Been used a lot in solo queue and in duo queue, and it's just absolutely disgusting what Yuumi can bring to the table, and also being untargetable at the same time. Interestingly enough, they're actually just nerfing her first ability. AP ratio on her first ability is going down, and damage while attached, the AP ratio is also going down. So they're not nerfing, in my opinion, the main strength with Yuumi, which is Harmonic Echo plus her third ability at the moment, and also, if you want to go for that route, and also obviously the extra damage that Yuumi gives to her allies as well. When she's attached to an ally, she gives so much AD or so much ability power depending on the the ally champion, sorry, and it's just absolutely insane. Again, ultimate ability power ratio going down as well, so it seems like they're trying to nerf her damage, which is quite interesting, because I think Yumi's most of the time don't use her first ability too much during laning phase, because her passive doesn't give back mana anymore. So you have to be very careful with your first ability. So interesting nerf. I still think Yumi be fine, again, because of her third ability and her second ability. But a little bit of a poke nerf for her ultimate and her first ability. Shyvana, as I said, for a while, hasn't been performing as well, just again because of the meta, and again because how jungle works in general now, thanks to the changes that happened in jungle quite a while back now, about a month ago, where you can't just AFK farm around the jungle. You're actually going to be losing value and losing money if you're just AFK farm around the jungle, because of the extra stacks that you get now, with the, I can't think of the new passive that the junglers have, but basically the more time that you don't kill a major monster camp, so like dragon or red buff, big raptors, big Krug, or anything like that, the longer the time, the more stacks you get, and the more stacks you get, the more gold you get. Shyvana is a champion that just wants to AFK farm through the jungle throughout the whole game, which you're actually just gonna lose gold in general. So they're just buffing her a little bit. The second ability, damage per second, it's going up. The base damage is going up, and also the bonus attack damage is going up, and then the same with the total damage. So the total damage, you can see, goes from 525 to 560, and the bonus attack damage goes from 175% to 210%. So this will just help her clear through the jungle a lot quicker. Maybe it'll help her also her ultimate as well. You can see the bonus health that you get when you use your ultimate is getting buffed by quite a bit, so you can maybe get a little bit more health to jump in and deal a bit of damage. Janna, ever since her rework, has been absolutely insanely strong. She's been really powerful. You can see here that they're nerfing the bonus movement speed that you get for Janna. Used to be 15, 20, 25, 30, but now it's 10, 15, 20, and 25. So 5% nerf at every single level. You can just spam this ability so often on Janna. It doesn't really cost any mana at all. You spam this, everyone's zooming around the map, and it's really difficult to play against. But that's obviously being nerfed. And then a huge nerf to the ability power ratio on your shield as well. On the third ability, your shield. Again, the base value is staying the same, but the ability power ratio is going down by 15%, which is pretty insane if you ask me. I mean, Janna doesn't really build that much ability power anyway, so the extra ability power bonus was kind of nice. Most of the time you build, like, you just go Harmonic Echo, Starfall Flowing Water, maybe you can build a Death Cap in there if you want to, and it still gave you a pretty decent shield value, but now it's just that EP percentage has gone down by quite a bit. Brand, again, another underwhelming champion, to be fair. Champion just doesn't really offer too much, and it's not really that great in my opinion. Health going up, I think, is great for Brand. I think Brand really struggles during the laning phase, especially if he's against like assassins or even other mages. He just loses to every other mage as well. So the extra health is going to make him a little bit tankier, and also it means he can walk up and maybe trade and take a little bit more damage, which I think this is a great change for Brand for the early game. Third ability, the base value is staying the same. The ability power ratio is going up by 10%, and the ultimate as well, the ability power ratio is going up by 5%. So some nice changes here, I think, to Brand. Just some more damage, and also the extra HP, which I think is the big thing that will help Brand. Vi, armor going up doesn't really do too much. I mean, you don't really take that much damage anyway from jungle camps, so you don't really lose that much health anyway. Maybe this will help you when ganking, but I don't think it will mean too much. Big thing is the ultimate cooldown. You can see the early game now, 70-second cooldown, so it's going down by 10 seconds, which I think is pretty big. I think you already had a pretty short window to use your Vi ultimate. Now it's going to be even shorter, so you can, this will allow you to make more gank potentials. Without Vi's ultimate, it can be a little bit difficult to gank. It can be a little bit difficult to land her abilities and everything. So using her ultimate just to guarantee that chain CC is quite nice. And that being on lower cooldown just allows her to gank more often. And then Echo as well. Echo, again, they feel like Echo's on the lackluster side. This buff is actually kind of nice. The first ability, the base damage going up on the outer damage and also the returning damage. The ability power ratio is staying the same, which I think is okay. But the base damage is quite nice, especially for jungle Echo. Just helps him a little bit in the early game with clearing through the jungle. And you can see again the ultimate going down at level 1, level 2, and staying the same at level 3. Pretty much the same as Vi's ultimate. So again, just being able to jump in, tower dive, and then you can use your ultimate more often. These are the big changes, I think, of this patch. Item changes. I think that everyone knows how broken, how insane Crown of the Shattered Queen is. This item is getting nerfed this patch. I think this is probably a bit of an underrated nerf as well. This tier 2 item is actually cracked as hell. Like, this tier 2 item is so insane. Like, the amount of stats and the extra bonus that you get when you hit an ability, like the extra bonus damage, is actually pretty insane. So them changing the build path to now be Fiendish Codex +1 Ring of Revelation means that, like, you can't build this item anymore. This item is not as strong, and Ring of Revelation just gives you like 5 ability haste or whatever. So the build path is now not as strong with Crown of the Shattered Queen. Lost Chapter is still there. The total cost is unchanged, the combined cost is unchanged, but this is pretty insane now that the components are not going to be as strong as the other ones. Base stats, you can see here, every single base stat is pretty much changing. Less ability power, more ability haste, no more +150 maximum health. So this is pretty big. The ability haste is like meh, the extra buff to ability haste, but them nerfing the ability power by over 10% and them getting rid of that whole 150 maximum health is pretty huge. See here as well the safeguard, which is basically when the shield gets procced, the duration of reducing incoming damage is going down by 0.5 seconds. Again, great. And then cooldown reduced by each trigger of the poise passive. This is basically every single time you land an ability, then the cooldown of the safeguard and the cooldown of the shield of Crown of the Shattered Queen gets reduced. That is now not going to do it, not going to reduce as much, so it's going to be 1 less second every single time you cast an ability. So say that's 4 abilities you cast, it used to be like 20 seconds before, now it's gonna be 4 less seconds. Now it's only gonna be 16 seconds it's reduced by. So this will be a big difference as well, because champions like Orianna and Zoe that can just keep landing abilities, spamming abilities over and over again, is not gonna be able to reduce Crown of Shattered Queen as much as what they did before. So it's a pretty nice change to Crown of Shattered Queen. I still think the item's gonna be fine, to be honest. I don't think the item is completely dead or anything. I just don't know if this item's gonna be first item worthy anymore. Maybe people will start to go back to Luna's Echo again. I still think Luna's Echo is pretty good. But yeah, Crown of Shattered Queen was just way too good to not build as a first item, basically. Medjais is really weird. I don't know why they nerfed Medjais. Honestly, the amount of games that I've had where people build Medjais and then they just get 0 stacks from Medjais, I don't know. Maybe they feel like the free ability power that you get basically for just 1,500 gold and the health is just pretty insane, but not only are they increasing the gold by like 300 gold, they're nerfing the health by 30 and they're nerfing the ability power by 5. So they're really nerfing this item basically to the ground. I mean, I understand what it means by like snowballing mages, but my god, 1,800 gold now, 70 health, 25 ability power. I never suggested to build Medjai Soulsteed in the first place. Now I definitely won't recommend it because this item is just... yeah, I don't know. I think this item's in the ground. It's kind of crazy. And then Runa's Hurricane. Again, another item at the moment, which especially on AD carries is very, very powerful. Jinx, Zeri, even people building it on Caitlyn at the moment as well. The big reason I think for this is because of that spread damage, the extra bolts that you get, the spread damage. You can see here that the Wind's Favor passive for the Ruinous Hurricane, the attack damage is getting halved and the ability power is getting halved. I didn't think that they would go for this sort of approach. I thought they would nerf the spread damage that you get, the extra bolts damage, maybe scale that with a little bit less AD or something like that. But basically they're basically cutting in half the amount of AD or ability power you get, which is kind of insane, to be fair. Like, you only get 15 AD now from Ruinous Hurricane. Yeah, I think that's kind of busted, to be fair. Like, only 15, not busted, sorry, but like the nerf is pretty insane. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just crazy. You only get 15 AD with this item now, which makes me feel like it's not going to be that great. Yeah, like, I mean, champions were building this as a second item and delaying crit, and I think when an item is overperforming over building crit on an AD carry, then there's a problem. So no surprise this item's getting nerfed. You can see here, Heartsteel Ezreal, Heartsteel Set, Yone, and Kayn all come in November 17th. This is a typo, November 17th. So that's everything. That's all the changes happening to Wild Rift in patch 4.4a. Some cool, exciting changes happening for patch 4.4a. Excited to try out Corki again to see what he's going to be like. Or anything in terms of other ADC changes, just like the items in general. I think this is going to make champions like Xayah just completely busted next patch. We'll have to wait and see. And maybe champions that didn't build Ruinous Hurricane. Gazeri was very strong with Ruinous Hurricane. You've probably already seen my video for it. But anyway, hopefully enjoyed this rundown of this new patch. Hopefully enjoyed the rundown. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, what you think of the new patch. And as always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next wider video. Peace.